like, nope, I take my boat out on the water and I eat bagels for breakfast.
Yeah, I'm back. Thank God.
Sean, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Chris, are you recording already?
Yeah, we're going.
Uh, oh, oh. Let's get started then. Yeah.
Oh, they pulled up to your belly button. Jeez. Holy fuck.
I wish it didn't say anything. I wish we could just like start so then you were just talking about whatever. Um,
Yeah, so
but
don't see
yeah,
me
yeah,
twitch.
people make fun of my old grandpa shorts.
I mean, I would too if I saw someone with.
I'm
old
wearing
grip.
tights under, so it's like not super weird.
It's really weird.
No, I feel like that's less weird because then my dick doesn't come out. It's fine. Okay. But anyway, what I wanted you on here for was because you recently are a guest at Cat Gathering and can we say it? The other one?
Neo?
Yeah, are we allowed to say that?
I guess, yeah. I mean,
Well,
it
you're
hasn't
also a
even
guest
been-
at Neo.
Whoa!
Whoa! So that's great. And yeah, so basically I was just really curious about if you have like, so I mean, you're basically a professional athlete now, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
now you're a professional athlete. And like, not to say like you weren't already, like we both got to that status where we were like, we are professional athletes. Like that's the truth of it, you know? And but like now you're literally getting paid to do it. I got like, you know, you haven't gotten any sponsors yet though?
No, not any sponsors, but this is like the first major thing that's really happened. So,
Well, that's the thing that everybody like is hoping for, you know, is that like
yeah.
people care way less about sponsors. Like I had sponsors, but it's like no one gives a fuck. It just doesn't matter. But like when it comes to like you're like a guest at a gathering, you're gonna literally be the face. And like, do you know how many followers you're gonna get when Neo fucking posts you on their page?
I
They're
know,
like, who is this?
like as soon as Cat Gathering had posted it on Instagram, I'd gotten like probably close to like 30 followers like immediately.
Oh wow.
So, I mean, yeah, and I hadn't posted it in like a week or two. And I was like, why am I getting so many followers? I'm like, oh yeah.
That's so funny. That's awesome. Like I bet people are probably like talking about you like crazy now. Like even those 30 people, they're probably just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we never knew about this guy. Look at his like, oh my gosh, all this stuff. And like, yeah,
Right.
I bet people are going off about you right now. And like I just can't wait till the gathering too.
I mean, it's funny because like since I had to make my new Instagram account because my last one got hacked,
Yeah.
some people that I've been following for years just started following that account back because they're like, oh, I thought I was following you before. I'm like, you were. I just had to switch accounts.
Like I
So,
hacked because I'm stupid.
yeah, that too.
I can't
I
believe you
left
actually
that
got
part.
hacked, dude. That's so funny. Okay. But anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to like also, do you have like imposter syndrome now that you're like a pro athlete? Do you feel different? Do you like are you feeling like how did I get here? Or like do you just reflect and you're humble, or like what is it that you're feeling because of it?
Um, I don't know. Like the first session, like that I had after I knew was like
Yeah.
I thought really weird, but it wasn't. I don't know. I just go there to trick. Like I don't really take it into account or anything. I just go and do what I always have been. I guess it gives me more motivation because like I mean I'm still training the same amount that I was before, but like I guess it's just making me have an excuse to go trick now more. So
Yeah.
there's that
No,
part of it.
that's awesome. And I think that's why you're like so likable as an athlete too, and just as like a person in general, is because that's the thing, you know, people can, it's so easy to fall into that thing and be like, this is my title, this is what I do. But then at the same time, it's like, you always have done this just to do it. You don't need to like put on a
Yeah.
show or be someone different. And like you've always been like that. And like, especially growing up in like the spot that we grew up, that happens like where we progressed extremely fast and everyone else kind of, you know, they showed up here and there, but like we were grinding so much harder, and like we would go to the grass sessions, we'd be doing research, we would be doing all of our rehab and all of these things that I think a lot of people put to the side, or even if they're doing them, they're just doing them a lot less. And they just don't have their mind in the right place to progress, even if they are going through all of the motions.
Yeah.
Um, And so like that was just like innate to us. And so like I think that we were always like that person that people generally would look up to because we were the one at the session doing the triple corks where everyone else was just starting out doing the corks, like occasionally a cart dub, like these kinds of things. And so like we've always gone with that kind of mentality where we're like, we're just here to trick, we're not here to be better than you. And we're super willing to share the information to get you there. And it's
Yeah,
always been that way.
definitely. Like I feel like a new perspective that I've gotten from tricking the last like year or two that I've been tricking is just not even trying to be better than specific people anymore. It's more just for myself now. And like that's I feel like all I need to motivate myself is just to be like, well, especially with just after going through injuries, I think a lot of trickers can find this too because now they know that they've been set back and now they want to get better than where they were before the injury. And I think
Yeah.
that creates a new mentality for them to be like, now I'm trying to be better than I was before. And then I think they keep that mentality as they keep tricking and progressing. And then I think that's way more of like a positive outlook on it too. And I think it makes you enjoy the session way more as well too.
I think so too. And I think that's like something that we were definitely blessed with. We talked about this kind of last time that you were on, is like with the Shosei era. When Shosei came about, it either forced trickers to grow like this fake ego, or it made trickers become really humble, good people. And then it also like forced people to like come into their own and like be really good. Like there's three different things, and like you could have a mixture of all of them, but like there's those are like the
Yeah.
three things that would happen to people. Were like, and I think that we're both the type of person who just like step back and like, well, we're not Shosei, so what do we do? Versus like being like, no, I am the best, and I can still get there. He ain't shit. Like I can be the best at what I do. Like we weren't
Right.
like that. And like even if we can get really good at one specific area or whatever, like and we could maybe like, who's to say like someone's not going to come along and be better than him. But I'm just saying like it was just his level just came out of nowhere, and like
Mm.
it really shot people's egos to the floor. It made this idea of like being the best like kind of impossible,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate to say, but like it really is. You got to be realistic too.
Right.
So
Like I think yeah, when I started tricking, like and I found myself having like a specific rival that I was aiming towards,
yeah.
you know, like even after Shosei, because like my goal originally was to like be the GOAT.
Mhm.
And not to say that it's still not, but it's not so like persistent where if like I have a bad session, it really defeats me and like gets me down. That doesn't really happen. It's more just like I'm just doing it for myself, setting my own goals, and eventually you'll get to a spot that you'll have other goals to reach, and just like being the goat is such like an abstract thing. There's nothing concrete that once you land this, you're the goat. It's not
Right.
like that. Like
It's literally based off of the community's view, which is
right,
such crap. Like you could be your own goat. You could be like, to me, this style shows that I am adequate enough to be the best. And that's what you start to develop, is that style. That's exactly what I started doing. And like the aesthetic of it is what I love. My love of tricking is like the balance of level changes. That to me is the ultimate tricking style. I never knew really how to express that in the beginning, like not even physically. Like physically, I was like trying to achieve that, but I didn't know how to say it, so I wasn't able to put it into words. As I progressed, now I understand that that's what it is. It's me changing levels of me doing like the sweeps, doing like a cart to a GMS is really fun. Doing like a really high GMS, or like doing like a really low tornado kick to a really high cheat nine. Like these types of things to me really show like the control. It really shows like the fun of tricking, of being like low power, high power, low power, high power, and like the flow that you can develop of like movement from trick to trick and just how the puzzle pieces connect. That to me is
right.
what I really enjoy watching and what I really enjoy doing, because it creates this challenge that isn't like pure smash. Like I
Yeah,
love to like smash the triple cork in like a massive combo, but like if I do that all the time, like I'm gonna die. So
yeah,
it's just not realistic for me. And so I had to change my view. Yeah, so it's just like you got to kind of develop what it is for you. So like that being said, like what would you consider your style to be that you're trying to obtain? Have you kind of thought about that more since last time we talked?
kind of. I've been really trying to like find that in my session. Like when I go to session now, I usually find myself doing like a handful of things that I'll lean towards. Like usually it's like swings, megas, front swings, and kicks are probably like the biggest four. And then
Do you
obviously like power
combine
tricks.
all of those? Because like one of my favorite things to work on is like cheat nine hyper front swing. Like when you start doing like something where it's like, oh, it's a fancy kick and you're doing a transition in it, or is it like you work on them separately because you want to get good at those and then occasionally they'll cross the paths, or do you work on like combining those things at all?
Right. It's kind of complicated right now for me just because like I don't know, I haven't really thought of I don't know, style for in tricking has just been like one of the hardest things for me to find. And so right now I'm working on finding like different categories in tricking that I really like and I'm just diving into those right now. So, right now I'm working on like cheat 12 and I'm working on mega miss legs and that kind of thing. And then once I am like more comfortable, then I'll start to combine them more
Gotcha.
and then
Yeah.
my own style. But right now I'm mostly doing like 1 to 3 hitters and it's not
Yeah.
full style yet.
Right, you just like tack it on at the front of your combo because it's a good entry or like in the middle before your normal ender, that kind of thing. I totally get that. And
Right.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because here's the problem. This is what most people tend to do is they're like, I'm gonna try everything. Then they try everything and they go, oh, these are the things I'm good at. And then you're like, I'm gonna try everything. And they're like, fuck, I'm good at all of it. I can't narrow it down. What do I want to do?
I mean, kind of like I
It
do
really is
find
like that.
myself I do find myself like being, decently good at everything. So like it doesn't matter which direction I go in, I feel like. And that's I'm not saying that like I'm definitely not the best at front swings. I'm definitely not the best at swings. I'm not really the best in any category, but there are certain things that I do enjoy more, and I think I'm better at those than some people just because I train it more.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like one style I really do like is Michael Guthrie's though. I've been watching a lot of his clips and none of his combos that he posts are ever the same. They don't ever have the same style or flow
Mhm.
like as someone like, Ethan posts or even like Shosei where they have like such defined styles. Like you kind of know what you're gonna see before they go into it, even
Yeah.
though the Ethan is obviously super, like unpredictable.
Yeah,
But
he's extremely unpredictable, but you expect him to be unpredictable.
yes, Michael Guthrie though, he's like he can just do whatever he wants and it just works perfectly.
Yeah,
So
like it's very obvious how smooth each transition is, even if a trick that isn't supposed to connect that way.
right. So that's one thing I do really like about his style is that I think that is a good, you know, like like I don't know. I guess that's why people can call him the GOAT is for that
Right.
reason. So
I could definitely see that. Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on this already. So like, uh, but I was curious if you did say it changed a little bit. Like, has your training changed? Like, how has your training changed with the upcoming competitions, especially now that you're like a
oh,
guest? I guess gatherings, not competitions, but um, yeah. What are you going to do differently, or like, are you going to even approach the gathering differently? Because when you go to
mm,
gatherings, you pretty much throw down, but like people might be looking at you a little bit more, or like it's kind of your job now. Like, did they give you like any sort of description of like what you're required to do? Because I know there are some guests where they show up and they're just there. Like they don't
yeah,
really do anything. So like, but some of them, like specifically, I would have to say, Sam Lincoln. He's one like if he's a guest, he's going to bring the hype, and he's like that hype man, and he's the one who like sets the tone for the gathering. And then there's other ones there that are just like the faces that people want to see and meet and talk to.
right.
But like it goes both ways. So like, are you just gonna approach it like you normally do? You're gonna do your thing, like
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone can bring their own personality to a gathering, and I think that people are expecting and they know what to expect from that person. And for me, in all the past gatherings that I've gone to, I just like to go and throw down. It's like I'm there to trick, I'm gonna trick.
yeah,
But so like with the gatherings coming up, I'm not really treating them any differently. I'm still just going and tricking. I'm just trying to get myself out there more, try and meet more people and have fun and throw down. And that's kind of just what I'm going to do with these gatherings too. I just get a little perk. That's pretty much how
Yeah,
I'm looking
right.
at
Yeah, that's awesome. And it makes sense because it's like you got there by doing what you're doing. So why would you change what you're doing?
it.
But
Right.
training regimen wise, have you changed anything or are you eating cleaner sooner? Or do you just have like a slightly more discipline because you know this is coming up, than you
Kind of.
normally would?
Yeah, I suppose I'm treating it a little more like seriously, but in a very exciting way. Like it's just like I want to be super conditioned and super like fit and ready mentally and physically for it so that when I'm there I feel like I can perform. I don't
Right.
know, like
In a way,
usually
like the pressure's on now, so the pressure's not on later.
kind of, yeah, not really like pressure. I'm just like I just when I'm there I want to be able to trick.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it comes down to is that I'm not really there to like impress anyone except myself. I
Yeah.
just want to be able to do that. That's kind
But
of
that's what it's always been. I mean, like when you and I go to gatherings together, we're like, "Hey, what's your goal?" And you're like, I want to do a dub at a gathering. I want to do a triple cork at a gathering. I want to do a triple cork in a battle. I want to do this combo in a battle." Like it was like always like that types of stuff. It was like you set goals of things that you can already do, but because the setting has changed, can you still do it? So
right.
yeah, just
And
those
I think it
personal.
right, and I think that's kind of the same mentality that I'm going after it with. Yeah, I mean, before gatherings, I have a bad habit of getting injured or like,
I know, me
um,
too, because I always train harder right before.
I know it's bad. So like, I'm honestly though, like, I feel like I, I don't know, my training regimen has gotten so efficient. I feel like where I don't really feel like I have a huge risk of injury. Like,
Yeah.
crossing my fingers that I didn't just jinx myself, but like I feel like a lot of precautions that I take now with like lifting and like dieting and just like conditioning in general, I feel like my body is like kind of bulletproof right now in a way where I just feel like if something does happen, I can tackle it really easily.
Yeah.
And like I know what's wrong with my body and I know exactly what to do to fix it like at all
Yeah.
times. So I feel like I'm in that way really set for a gathering at any time, honestly.
That's awesome. Yeah. So like I actually personally took a long break from tricking because I started getting into the jiu-jitsu and the Muay Thai because I want to transition to MMA, right? And what's funny is that I felt really good when I started taking my break. I was super focused on these other things. My body had to start to adjust to these new sports. And as I was adjusting, it was like had to go through this period of like crazy soreness, right? And then what started happening then is like now I'm comfortable doing those sports, but now I also lost my edge. I feel like I had something that everyone else didn't have. My body was stronger. My body was more capable. I was more flexible. I knew what like real pain was. I knew what failing was and all of these things. And now I'm in this class and like what happened to me is like I actually went to that jujitsu competition. I won gold, and then I came back and I was like, man, this isn't too easy, but like it's almost like weird for me to be like it's like very different. And then after that, then I actually started to go downhill. And I was like, what's happening? And then I started tricking again, and now I feel better. And
Mm,
I don't know if that's like because in in these sports, I'm like in training, I'm getting my butt kicked constantly. And then in competition, I'm doing really well. And what I think it's like, I just couldn't get my mind straight. And I wasn't in my own body. I mean, like I've made my body the way that it is over like this 10-year span.
yeah,
Right. And so for me to like switch it up and be like, now you have to adjust to this and like start to make this new style of a body, my body's like, why are you doing this? We're so strong. And like it's the same thing. Like tricking made me bulletproof in this weird way that nobody else can be unless you have 10 years of acrobatic experience. Like, and this
yeah,
is not normal acrobatics. This is something crazy. Like to the limit of like you get to choose like this sport literally breaks us. This breaks
yeah.
people. This is the ultimate extreme sport. And for me to take that away from my body and expect it to adjust to something that is also the other highest extreme sport, MMA, I think those are both like the top tier things that you can do to your body.
Mhm.
I shouldn't avoid what I've taught my body. I should lean into it. So yeah, I think you're 100% right. That was just a really long way to like agree with you. To be
Yeah.
like, yeah, it gives you this weird power, and you shouldn't shy away from it. So yeah, I think that's good. Gosh, there was something else I wanted to ask. Oh yeah, now that you're a guest, are you going to get any tattoos? Like, I know that's something you were kind of thinking about, but like now I feel like this is kind of a big deal, and you can like actually make it happen.
Yeah. So I mean, when I wrote down my my goals for this year, one of them was to get a tattoo this year, and so like
Let's
I don't know,
go.
like I don't know what I want yet. I have like some ideas, but most of them are like it's got to be like something personal that I will want and like that has like actual face value, not just like a rose or something. It does that to
Yeah.
me doesn't have any meaning. Maybe for someone else it does, but like to me, if I got a rose, I'd be like, okay, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah,
So
but like even if it was like I think there's multiple ways you can attack this, right? So you could do like Neo 2023, and just have that tattooed on you with like a cool like maybe the Neo logo or something like that. Or you could do like a tricking based thing that is like irrelevant to being a guest, but just being like, hey, tricking, like even if like one day we're going to be old and we won't be able to really trick anymore, well, who knows, maybe we'll be 90 years old and we'll be doing some poop gainers on a Russian tramp, who knows, but but like it might gain a relevance over time, but at the same time it's like a massive check mark in your life that you're like, I
yeah,
did this, so that's why you could just straight up go with like Neo 2023 because fucking you're a guest.
right.
And like
I
it
think
represents you like achieving this big goal.
yeah, for sure. I think um at least tricking wise, there's a few that I would be like satisfied with, and I think like the first one is obviously like spam dubs because like that's like kind of iconic.
Yeah.
And I think like the other one would be a uh, bat tattoo,
Mm.
but I think I would only get that if I was able to join the team. It's like for me, I have this weird like mentality where I won't really wear like a one of those like tricking brands if I'm not like a part of it. I don't know why. It's
Because you
stupid,
don't
but
want to
like
be like a fanboy. You don't want to be like one of the people.
kind of, but I feel like it would have more meaning if it was like if I was a part of the team. It's like it's not really the same as wearing like Nike or like Adidas in my
Yeah.
mind for some reason. Like because I wear those, but like I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it translates to. I don't know. It's weird. It's
I
super
know what you're
dumb.
saying. It's because it's almost like the potential for you to be a part of that team is there. So for them to like to you to wear it, it's almost like you're like hoping or like you're like making this like false prayer instead of just being like, hey, I am a part of it. And like because you can
Right.
see the other side and you want to be on that other side. That makes sense. Because instead of
Yeah.
just like falling into it and being like, well, I have it, so it doesn't mean anything now. Versus
Kind
like
of.
if you leave it away, like you leave it alone when you get there, then it will mean something. And I get
Right.
that.
Like if I'm wearing it, I want to be like, yes, I am. This like represents me,
Yeah.
not necessarily like, look, I have a branded shirt.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. And so that being said, though, what are some goals that you have for these gatherings?
Um, right now I'm working on just like setups to triple cork. Right now, triple cork is like a really difficult move for me for some reason. So
Why? That's insane. You hit it all the time. You even did the
I
concrete triple cork.
true. I can do it a lot of the time, but I'm not comfortable with it at all. Like,
So, like, would you throw it in a battle?
I mean, I have before, yes, but
Yeah.
it's always like sketch. I'm always like
Mhm.
50-50.
Yeah.
So, and then I end up
That's
landing
not
in
a
like
very good statistic, bro.
it's not like I don't really have triple cork combos consistent, but like the sessions that I do, I can hit it every time. It's like session by session. So it's like
Okay.
if I can hit a triple cork like really easily, then I can combo it like all session long. But
Yeah,
like
that's
if
how
I
it was
can't,
for me too. It has to be
yeah,
like locked in for some reason.
yeah, like if my mental game isn't there, then it's not gonna happen. So it's just like session by session, and I'm just really trying to grind it and like get it to be like muscle memory. So I'm just like getting a bunch of different setups. I really want trip is my biggest goal. Um, think
Triple cork, I don't land it very often, but the next one is a trip. Where
well,
what the you're like out of a triple full, triple cork is way easier because if I twist, then I just keep twisting.
kind of, but I mean, I'm obviously
I
working
know,
on
I
it.
know.
So, like I'm doing like like different full variations to triple cork. I'm doing like a lot of G switch triple corks. I'm really trying to get TDR triple cork easy. And then
What
I'm gonna
is
be
your
working
easiest setup? Is it TDR triple cork? That's what I always thought it was.
I do hit that one most of the time. Like that's like my main triple cork setup if I'm gonna throw it. Um, but it's really hard. I really like G switch triple cork though.
Do you ever do
That was
master scoot triple cork? That was the first one you landed, right?
yeah.
We're so fucked up.
I don't really do that one anymore.
I
Just because
know, it's so weird.
it hurts
It's
my
so
ankles.
weird.
Like I always land too short. But
Yeah, like it just doesn't flip you. It's like now that you landed it one time, you slowly adjusted your triple cork to be a more efficient, and more efficient meant using other setups. And now like your triple cork just isn't the same out of a master scoop because it's changed over time. That's what I felt anyway.
maybe I'll try that tomorrow though. Maybe I'll do
Yeah.
master scoot triple cork because that I know I've hit it a few times since my first one, but like yeah, it's been a while since I hit it out of that.
Do you want to
Um,
do like the most frustrating thing ever? Try to combo master scoop triple cork. The
oh
most frustrating thing in the world, where you like literally are landing on your feet, but you're coming out of like this weird axis, and you're like, why? And it's
yeah,
not possible for your feet to stick to the floor. It's not.
like I'm already having enough trouble trying to combo like TDR triple cork.
Oh geez, yeah.
It's like
The
stupid
the
hard.
only master scoop triple cork combos, I think I've done it twice, and I think it was both of them were from like some sort of pop flash or gainer, where I just
Yeah,
do like it's like scoop pop flash master scoop triple cork, and both times I'm just like spidering constantly and like almost falling over and like sprinting across the gym trying to catch my feet up to my head. Like it's
yeah.
just terrible, and I'm like, I landed.
You
It's
like
like
can't.
a game of rock paper scissors.
There's like nothing you can do it out of that's like good except
I
like
know.
maybe
Just
side swipe, but I'm not doing that. That's stupid.
no, side swipe would be so bad. Like maybe like an aerial would be pretty good. Like my side swipe comes down too heavy. I couldn't do
Yeah,
it. Yeah, like a pop flash or an aerial would have to be it. But even then I'm still like, ugh. I'm just imagining it. It just does not feel right.
yeah. Um, yeah. So like I'm just working up to, just being able to get triple cork really consistent so that when I go for trip, I'm comfortable in the triple cork. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do TDR Valdez though as my setup
Okay.
instead of cart. Um, I'm just like way more square in that setup, and I have like way more power, like
You
control.
do, and it's way more like inner power. I don't know really know how to say it, but like when you do it, it's like you're doing the triple full and it looks like you haven't used your power yet. Like when you do a cart
Yeah,
trip, it's like you had to jump and there's like a recovery period during the triple full that you're allowed to have, and then you can recover in time for a swing. But when you do the Valdez triple full, it's almost like your recovery time is like has been charging during the Valdez. Like you're like Valdez, and then you're like recovering time during. Like you haven't even jumped. You're just kind of in it.
that's true. I haven't really thought about that, but yeah, when you do TDR Valdez trip, you're just kind of like riding it the whole time,
Yeah.
and then when you're
It's
ready,
like
you
when
just like
it's like when Michael Guthrie does the really low cart dubs on purpose for a setup.
yeah, it is
But like
exactly.
you're not doing it low, you're just vibing through that
Yeah,
triple. Yeah.
Valdez gives like a ton of power, and I don't. I love it when people are like using Valdez, or like when they're learning it, and they're just like, it's like so bad, but then they can still like do stuff out of it. I don't
That's
know.
me. That's
It's like
me.
so powerful.
There's like yeah, right. That's so true. Like I've done TDR Valdez triple full, and then I've only done it once ever, and it was just like, it does work, and it was the easiest triple full I've ever done. Actually, when
Yeah,
I did it, I was like, wait, was that a dub? And they're like, no, that was three. I was like, holy shit! Like I lost count because it was so easy. And then I tried to do like TDR Valdez full, and I was like, oh, I can't figure it out. Like all of a sudden I just lost it. I was like, I don't understand this trick anymore. It's a really hard one to like for me to keep consistent. But
Mhm.
I definitely see the potential in that. Yeah, is there anything else you want to say that's really, I mean, even trigger related, like any thoughts you've had recently that have popped up, or anything philosophical you want to talk about, or anything you learned from rehab, or anything along those lines?
I've definitely been working a lot of like ankle stuff recently.
Yeah.
I didn't really like I knew that my ankles were pretty inflexible, but recently I've been doing um these like squats with like kettlebells or um barbells, and you just go down with your knees completely forward, and then your feet, like instead of like perching up on your the balls of your feet, you put your heels on the floor so
Like
that
a real
you're
squat.
like yeah, like a, yes, like
Like you're supposed to do, but our ankles are so fucked up we've never been able to. Got
yeah. So
it.
I've been trying to get my body to do that, and I can tell it's working so much because my ankles don't jam as much anymore, and they're like way more flexible, and like yeah, that's really nice.
That's awesome, dude. Actually, so I just got a membership at the gym, so I've been going to go work out a lot more, and I finally started squatting, which like I've never done squatting consistently ever. And yeah, so basically, I was there with my buddy Luke, and we were squatting, and he was like, "You need to not be on your toes," and I was like, "No, I know." I was like I'll show you my ankle flexibility. It just is not possible right now. And so like we started with low weight, and like as I kept going and like I started upping the weight more and more and more and more until finally my ankles were like fine and they like relaxed and my heels were on
Yeah,
the floor and I was in like a full squat. I was like, no way, this feels crazy. I feel so stable. Like my
I
heels are
know.
on the floor. This is so nice. And yeah, so because I saw your barefoot squat, would you do 320?
335.
Oh, damn. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. I'm gonna try to beat you. It's gonna take a little bit, but like the workouts have been going really good for me. Like we did this one, it was like this shoulder thing where you do like you run through all these different like shoulder motions, whatever. And it's like it's really long. It's probably like you do like 5 different exercises and it's 10 reps of each one with no pause in between. You just hang on to the weights the whole time through.
Oh,
Then you pause for 30 seconds and you do it again. And you do it 3 times. And the first time I did it, I was literally like crying. I can't. Like I'm trying to move my arms and I can't. And then like we did it again the next week, and I was like, oh, this shit's easy, and I could do it all.
yeah.
It was crazy how quickly my body adjusted. And even he was like, nobody's body heals that quick. Nobody's body like fixes and adjusts and like allows them to like immediately do that exercise that quickly again. But I think that's like a trigger thing. I think it's like our bodies are like, oh, this is a necessity or else we die. Got
Yeah.
it. Because it's like it's used to like getting put through the ringer like that. So yeah, I'm gonna
Right.
try to catch you in the squat. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna just like put myself through hell, and then the next week I'm gonna beat your record.
Okay. I did see this one really crazy exercise on Instagram. Um, it's like a Bulgarian split squat,
Okay.
but you're like in a split squat like usual, and you have we did like 35s, so you did 8 reps, and then you held it at the bottom for 8 seconds, and
Yeah.
then your partner handed you like 5 pounds lighters, and you do 8 more reps. Hold it at the bottom for 8 seconds, and then do 5 less pounds, 8 more reps, and then hold it at the bottom for 8 seconds, and then
Dude,
that's like one, and then you switch legs, do that leg, and then you do it again.
that's
It
what I
was
did for my biceps, and it was the worst thing in my life. I did
it
it for
was
my biceps right after my competition because I was like, okay, what muscles are sore from competing in jiu-jitsu? And I was like, okay, my back, my biceps, and like my calves were really sore. And then I just needed like mobility in my hips. So I went through all those things and I did that for all the muscles that were sore, and it was the worst thing in my life. And then also when we do squats, we do pause at the bottom, but the idea of like switching and immediately going again with no break,
yeah.
that's that's death. I don't think like I will literally scream and fall over. Like I
It
don't
was
like my muscles will be like, why?
it was very awful. Like the last set, you're like holding at the bottom for 8 seconds, and you like can't stand up, and you like
Yeah,
drop the weights, and you're like standing up and your entire leg just gives out and you just fall over.
Yeah, you're just like laying there. You're like, yeah, one sec. One
Yeah.
sec.
You're like, I still gotta do my other leg, and then we gotta
Yeah,
do it
bro.
again.
Oh fuck, yeah, you're right. Oh, that sucks, dude.
We couldn't even finish the second set. Like once we went back for the second leg, like we could only do like the 2 initial 8, and then we could like make it halfway through, if that, for the last one.
Oh
It
my
was like
gosh. That's so
so bad.
crazy. I mean, like, that's the thing though, is like if you're working arm day, you can barely move your arms. So when you do leg day, it should be the same thing. Like it should.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to recover from that?
A week.
But yeah. For me, my
Usually my
biceps,
legs.
but my biceps were literally sore for 6 days. And it was
Yeah.
like on the seventh day, I was like, oh my gosh, I can straighten my arms. Finally. It was like my arms were like permanently stuck like this for like a week. I was like, I can't even straighten them all the way because like this area in my low bicep was just like effed. Because I also did forearms, because like that's the thing for jujitsu is like you need to grip really hard and you need to like pull really hard. So it was like my low biceps and then like the part that like bled into like my upper forearm.
Yeah.
It was the worst. I could not
Oh,
even. Oh, it would
that
suck
bit
so
sore
bad.
in there. Yeah, it's like when the split squats like work your groin a lot too, which
Oh,
is like
that's
a
great.
major place for me to be working. So that was like the most sore. And
I've been
then
doing Bulgarian split squats a lot too.
yeah, they're great. And like
They're
I'd
awesome.
never done them before, so it just absolutely obliterated me.
Yeah.
And so like the seventh day, I'm like, that was like the first day I wasn't sore. And I text my buddy, I'm like, do you want to go to the gym? He's like, yeah, do you want to do those split squats again? I'm like, fuck, no. Then we ended up doing squat PRs and then did the split squats.
Oh, jeez. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. But like, what do you do for recovery? I mean, it's like stretching. Have you done like anything with ice or heat or what else? You said running before.
Yeah, I'm starting to run more. Usually like once or twice a week. It's only like a mile. So it's like not anything insane, but like it definitely like loosens your body up a lot, and it's a good sweat. Like I don't do a lot of cardio, so it's like it's really good for me anyway. And your ankles too. So like I'll run a mile and then I'll do like 20 minutes of like incline walking. Um and then that'll be like my ankle warm up, and then I'll go do like other resistance band stuff. Um Otherwise for like recovery, I'll use like a massage gun or foam roller. I'll stretch, but I think a lot of it has to do with just like sleeping and eating really healthy. I think that's most of it.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. That's something I definitely need to work on is just the sleeping aspect. Like that I don't get enough of. But I have been eating healthy. I've been eating a lot. The incline walking is definitely huge. And I'd have to say that the running is extremely good for your low back too. Do you have any low back issues or are you good there?
No, I haven't had anything. Like usually swings would start to hurt like my right side from my hip, like constantly like swinging my leg, but like
Mhm.
I've been doing like lower back exercises like the back extensions where it's like the opposite of a sit up basically, where your back is like low and then you
Yeah.
kind of do that. I've been doing like
I think
those.
it's called a reverse crunch, I think. So
I don't
literally
even
what you're
know.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, basically just like weightlifting in general just feels like it kind of reinforced my body a lot.
Yeah, and
So
it
now
like flushes all the bad toxins too. That's what I feel.
yeah, and like now when I trick, I can like I use my muscles way more because they exist.
Yeah,
So
right, right. You know what it
yes,
feels like. I think that's something we've always talked about before was like when you trick, it's like you're putting your body through like a car crash and you're basically your body thinks like, "Oh, I need to heal these injuries ASAP." And so it starts healing all of your body like it's an injury, but then you go and you work out and then your body's like, "Oh, you know those injuries we got? Those were all muscles." And then your body's like, "Oh, okay." And then
right,
it like triggers like this healing process of your muscles and your muscles are like what actually needed to be healed, but your body thought you got injured. That's, I think, what it feels like for me anyway.
yeah, because like in tricking and like gymnastics in general, like your muscles get sore, obviously, but like it's not even the muscles as much. It's more of like the ligaments
Yeah, the
and like
ligaments and the joints are like fucked.
yeah, and I think that just like having like reinforced muscle from weightlifting is like so key to not being injured all the time, because like you just have that reinforcement and just like extra strength that you're using, so there's way less stress and impact on your joints.
Well, totally. And like one of the main healing things is like if you can do like what do they call it? Like static cardio. So basically if you're sitting in the sauna or the hot tub, anything that gets your heart rate up while you're in like a high heat environment, that basically increases your blood flow, which flushes all like the toxins and all the bad things, and it rushes nutrients to every area of your body. Which also is basically weightlifting for trickers. Like people are like, yeah, weightlifting is my sport. And trickers are like, yeah, weightlifting is static exercise. And we're like, no, it's not. And you're like, no, it is. This is basic. And like your
Right.
body treats it that way. Like it's basically like a really, because when you're tricking, it's interesting. If you trick, you get to the point where you can't trick anymore. But then you're like, I could go weightlifting right now. And I
Yeah.
think that's what's like really important is like people will stop at the tricking and they'll be like, there, I'm set. But like weightlifting pushes you to this point where like now you're forced to do things properly, proper form. You're not allowed to
Yeah.
like, skimp on things like you can in tricking, and like you have to push it to the limit, which causes like a different type of healing factor that I think tricking lacks, because you're forced to stop before it's like your muscles actually get that chance. Cause like we're saying, like it's joint based, unfortunately.
Right.
Like your muscles don't get the work that they're required to get, which is right why weightlifting is so important.
Yeah.
What would you say like for your diet that's really really good? Is there like a base thing that you look for? Do you like count calories? Is there any, because I know I sent you that nutrition thing. Have you pulled anything from that?
Yeah, so a lot of it has been through like experimenting. Like I've been working on trying to find like a really good diet for me for like honestly like a few years. Like if I've been constantly like watching what I've been eating and trying to figure out like a general like schedule to follow with like food. So now I'm doing this I use this app called like Carb Manager or something, and you track your calories on there and your macros. And yeah, so I just created like recipes, and I just like make those recipes, and then I don't have to worry about tracking them really as much because it counts it all for me. And then
Right,
I just
that makes sense.
like,
You basically did the math, and then you were like, okay, I'm just plugging in the numbers now. Like it's
yeah,
not like
exactly.
you already know what everything adds up to, so you don't have to keep track of it daily.
Right. Through just a lot of like experimenting, and yeah, so now I just choose a meal that I want, and then I just plug it in and it tells me, and I'm like, okay, well, am I over? Am I under? And then I adjust it accordingly. Like, okay, I won't have, you know, like an extra glass of milk. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
you're able to like add another egg and just like able to add that on there really
that
easily.
must be the best feeling ever. That's one of my favorite things. Like, yeah, I'll add another egg. It's
Yeah,
like, yes.
right. And I think just like staying strict to that is like the biggest thing. That doesn't work for everyone. It works for me really well just because like I'm super strict about that stuff, and I want to make sure that I'm like it allows me to know that I'm getting enough food, basically.
Right.
Because like
That's true. It's super hard to do because you're like, I'm burning this many calories, so I should eat this much. But like also nutrients is important too. So like, you might go over your calorie count because you need nutrients, or vice versa.
yeah,
You might be worried about your calories, so you can lack on the nutrition, just to, hit that for the day, whatever it is that you're focused on. So
right.
is there anything specific that you avoid food wise, or it's like basically just
Mm,
you're just focused on hitting certain things, not avoiding things?
yeah, so like I don't really avoid things. Like I have like a personal rule where I'm like specifically for people who would like call it like junk food, so like muffins and donuts and whatever. Like I'll only have those if it's like offered to me, or if I'm like out to eat or like something like that. But if it's like in the house, I won't really eat it. And then because otherwise I'm just eating all my regular meals. So if
Yeah.
like we're at a party or something like that where it's like a special occasion, or like there's like an extra one at work and they're like, oh, do you want this? I'm like, hell yeah, like I'll eat a muffin, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to go get one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's a good way to do it too, because then otherwise you get into like a habit.
Yeah.
And I think that's where things like can start sliding really, really quickly.
Right, but it's not like restrictive and like it's never like bad for you to have it. It's just like a good way for me to manage it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else that you wanted to talk about? Or
Mm,
that pretty much wraps it up for everything I had questions on.
yeah, that's pretty much all I got right now.
Perfect. I just have like an emergency poop, and I thought that was a good way to to end anyway. So
Yeah, it'd probably be good if you said that off camera, but
hey man,
take
that's
your poop.
normal. That's normal stuff. Everyone has that. So yeah, anyway, thanks so much for talking, and good luck at the gatherings. We'll probably want to do another one of these post gatherings and just kind of see how everything went and yeah, where
Okay,
you're at with things.
sounds good.
Perfect. All right.
See-
Well, see you next time.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Bye, Jeff.
See ya.
Hey, if you enjoy our content and you want to show some support, make sure you follow us on Spotify and Instagram. Our Instagram tag is the_flip_side_podcast. Just make sure to go on there. Just shout out like old episodes that you liked, anything about the new episodes. You can comment on any of them. We would really appreciate it. And if you do end up wanting to go a step further, just become a supporter. All you have to do is follow the link in the description in any of our episodes that we've published. And you can also go under the About section in our Spotify homepage.
You can do as little as 99 cents a month. Any amount that you guys support us is going to help us build a better podcast and help build better trickers around the world.
Don't forget to follow us on the_flip_side_podcast on Instagram.
And CHRISPY_TRIX. That's chrispy-trix on Instagram. And I also have another YouTube channel, TrixFix, TRIX space FIX, for more tutorials and other things.
And we'll see you guys next time.